Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, what do you got for us today?
Okay, I just got here. Explain this. God is Shut! God is imaginary. Bro, what? Explain that right. Shut! Sorry, excuse him. Whatever.
Okay, next.
Right. What the hell was that? But anyways, I can prove to you God that God exists. First of all, I understand you don't believe in the creator, that you're here just randomly, like Big Bang. Did you know it requires more faith to believe there is no God than to believe there is a God? The probability that there is a creator is much bigger than there is not. Did you know that? That's the first of all.
Great.
Second,
So give us the evidence that God's real.
the evidence is everything. That you're alive, that you're thinking, that you're conscious, that you're looking around, that me and you can talk right now.
Okay, great. So what about me being alive means God must exist?
That's you being alive. That's a proof that God exists, that there's a creator.
I know you believe that, but how do you know that me existing means God exists?
Because you can't just, if you see a phone randomly appearing, there must be a creator for the phone, right? We are much more complicated than a phone, my friend. And as well, I can understand atheist point that saying, oh, we cannot see God, therefore it doesn't exist. But I can prove you wrong there. Imagine you live alone in a planet and you are in a desert, right? Once you're in a desert, you see footprints. Someone has walked there. You haven't seen the person, right? But you have seen the footprints. Therefore, you can come to the conclusion a person have been walking here. So therefore, there must be another person in this planet, right? Am I correct or wrong?
Okay.
Yes. So same thing applies for the existence. We don't see God, but we can see the footprints, the evidence that there is a creator by looking around.
Great.
The
So what are the footprints of God? If you're going to say everything, well, I can say that for anything I want to. I can say the evidence of Snuffleupagus is everything. Anybody can use that same argument. The problem is you have no way of falsifying your specific belief in your God. You have no way of deciphering whether or not it's your specific God or any other possibility out there. Because there's a variety of possibilities that can explain our existence. You're just simply
Well,
assuming it's your God. Why?
as I said before, it's a really easy concept of understanding there is a God. If you think there is no God, you have to have a lot of faith then to believe
Look,
there is no
I don't
God.
have faith in anything. What I'm saying is, how do you know that existence means your God must exist?
By the way, everyone
How
here
do you
follow
make
me.
that connection?
Say again.
How did you? What is the evidence that it's your God that made us and not something else?
As I said before, that you exist, your brain, your neurological
Okay, how old are you?
connection,
How old are you, by
your
the way?
cortex, your cells, your DNA,
Yeah, how old are you?
everything
How old
is
are you, by the way?
created.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay. I understand. You look around and you say, wow, we have brains. We're complicated. We're humans. There's trees, there's stars, there's space. Wow, look at all these things. They're complex. There must be somebody creating this because I look at a watch and I see a creator. I look at a phone and I see a creator. The problem with that assumption that there is a creator for everything else is the fact that we know why we are complex. We have a good reason to think that there doesn't need to be a God. God is not a man or an agency is not required to yield the complexity that makes us up. And the answer is natural selection. Evolution explains why we are complex. Physics, the laws
Actually,
of nature
let me
explain why
interrupt
we
you
are
there.
this way.
Natural
And God is not
selection,
required.
natural selection is a process where we evolve and the mutation of the genes will adapt to the environment, therefore the strongest will survive. I have studied biology and I know what I'm talking about. I'm also a medical student.
Great,
So,
fantastic. So you should know that
yes,
evolution is a fact and it explains why we are complex.
evolution is a fact in a certain degree For example, we can spectate certain bacteria. We can apply, for example, antibiotic on it, and we can see some of the specimen will become antibiotic resistant.
Right.
This is an evolutionary mechanism that bacteria will develop. But we cannot say that a species will become a whole new species by time. A species will remain the same species. Now,
No,
evolutionary
absolutely not.
is not proven
No,
on site.
that's wrong. That's incorrect. We can see the speciation in the fossil record, in our DNA. We can observe things like human chromosome 2, which is a specific chromosomal fusion that occurred about 6 million years ago that we share directly with chimp ancestors. That is direct
Let
evidence
me
that
break
we
down
are
with you.
chimp
Hold on.
descendants.
I've heard this argument a lot. There is correct. We share a lot of similarities on our DNA with chimpanzees, 98%. But did you know we share more similar DNA to a banana than a cat?
No,
Are
that's
you
not
saying we
true.
have
No, that's not
we're
true at all. We
bananas?
maybe share about 20% of our DNA with bananas, more like 60 to 70% with
Well,
cats.
let me break it down to you for you to understand.
But that wasn't even my argument.
Deeper
Hold on, sir.
understanding of
Hold
this
on.
topic than you, my friend.
Hold on.
I have
Hold on.
dedicated a
You
long
are strawmanning the argument that I'm making. I never said it's because of the similarities, therefore that means we evolved. What I'm saying is that there are certain chromosomal fusions, certain genetic changes that can only be explained by
Do you know what you're
if we
talking about
evolved.
when you say
It's not.
chromosomes?
Hold on.
Do you know what chromosome
Hold
is
on,
not?
sir.
There is a
Hold on.
long arm chromosome. There's P waves. There's Q waves. There is
Okay,
different
fantastic, sir. Great.
sequence of these chromosomes.
Just listen for a second, because evolution, in terms of macroevolution, is a fact, just as microevolution is.
It's not a
Almost no
fact, my
scientist
friend. How
disagrees
is
with
it a fact?
because we have fossil evidence, DNA evidence, and lab experiments that demonstrate this.
I know you just stumbling words, random words. You don't know what you're really talking
Okay,
about.
great. So then, how do
You say chromosome
so then
2.
how do you explain human chromosomes? So how do you explain human chromosome 2? Why do we
Maybe,
have
listen,
chromosomes that come from
I
chimpanzees?
will try to explain it to you if you don't interrupt me. Now, for every alive species, our code of being alive is encoded in the DNA. Now, if you look at atoms and molecules and chemicals, everything at the end will become a proton or neuron, and you
So
can
you're
dwell
not
more.
explaining. Look, you're not explaining.
Hold on. If you want to understand, you have to listen.
Sir, why do we have chimpanzee chromosomes? Why?
We have chimpanzees chromosomes because that's the code of being alive. It's a DNA. We cannot be. That's the optimal way
It's the
of
code of being alive.
human
It's the
become a
code of being
alive
alive.
species, conscious.
Wait, did you say it's the code of being alive?
Yes, there
Well,
is no other way
then
of
why don't flies have
another being of being alive
DNA?
in this
Sir,
three-dimensional space
just hold on,
than
sir.
DNA.
You're talking way too much. Listen, why you just said the reason why we have chimp chromosomes
By the
is
way, everyone
because
here follow me. I
it's
need 1K followers so I can live stream.
you're not listening, sir. And the fact that you just said that is another example why you should not be debating, because you're not listening to your opponent. So I asked you, why do we have chimp chromosomes? And you said it's the that's DNA of life. Well, I'm sorry, sir, but not every single living organism has chimp DNA or chimp chromosomes. So why is it that that we, specifically human beings, have such we match in terms of our DNA, in terms of our chromosomes, a particular set of chromosomes that can only come from chimps, that do not come from anywhere else? Why is that if we didn't evolve?
Now, just because we have 98% similarity on DNA doesn't mean we have been
Again, you're
chimpanzee.
not understanding what I just told you.
Hold
I'm not
on.
saying
I
that we
understand
share. Look,
completely. I
no, you're
understand
not.
completely what you're trying to
Okay,
say.
you're not
But in order
understanding.
to you to understand me, you have to listen as well, not just interrupting me. Now,
No. I am not talking about the sheer similarities that we share between us and chimps. I am not even talking about that. What I'm talking about is a specific set of chromosomes, human chromosome 2, which exactly matches chromosomes of chimps. And that's the problem that you cannot reconcile with if speciation is false. The overwhelming evidence, this is just one example, and there are tons of fossil examples of this, where we see speciation, we see analogous structures and homologous structures in the geological strata. How do you explain the geological strata if evolution doesn't happen? How do you explain the human chromosome if evolution doesn't happen? Go ahead and explain to us. And don't just say...
You keep mentioning
I agree.
chromosome number 2. Hold on. Chromosome number 2 is basically approximately 1,000 or 1,500 different genes encoded in the DNA, which produce different proteins. Those proteins being produced, it's necessary to keep the metabolism, the glucagon, the insulin, the receptors being made, the structure of gastrointestinal tract. We share the same similarities.
So why does
as
no
a
other ape?
chimpanzees.
So why does no other ape have human chromosome 2?
There is a lot of species that have chromosome number 2.
No, not a single other animal or ape has human chromosome 2.
You are incorrect there. You have to Google it.
Okay,
a lot
really?
of
Which
animals
animal has
have
human
chromosome number 2.
Which animal?
For example, a
which ape
horse.
has human
Did you know a
chromosome
horse
2?
has 72 chromosomes, and
Sir?
a chimpanzees I think have 55 chromosomes, if I'm correct. And if you got Down syndrome, you will get one extra chromosome. Like chromosome doesn't have to do
Sir,
anything with.
I don't think you're really engaging with what I'm saying here.
I think it's you who
why
don't
is
understand
it?
what I'm
Why
trying to
is
tell
it?
you.
Sir, why is it
DNA
that we
is the
share...
code of being alive, my friend.
No,
Everything.
I'm talking about
Did
a
you know
specific
a
chromosome.
bacteria have a DNA?
Sir, can you listen? We're talking about a specific chromosome that we share that exactly matches our chimp ancestors. How is that possible if we did not speciate?
First of all, it doesn't exactly matches the chimpanzee's chromosome number 2.
It does exactly match.
No, it's not identical. Definitely not.
Well,
there is some
when they-
mutations in
before they
human beings,
fused-
and there's
Sir.
individual mutations as well.
Look. Human chromosome 2, which you don't understand what it is a part of a chromosome from chimp ancestors that fused with ours. That is something that you cannot explain if we do not speciate or diverge from those species. That's the problem that you don't seem to be able to understand. There's a direct match between us and our chimp ancestors that you can't explain if we didn't evolve. How do you explain human chromosome 2? How do you explain the fossil evidence? How do you explain the series of human species that were our ancestors? How do you explain the fact that there were several different human ancestors before us? How do you explain that if we did not speciate? Are you there, sir? We can't hear you, sir. You're Googling.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yeah. So basically, your logic is just because we share same chromosome number 2 with chimpanzees who have been this chimpanzees, you can apply the same logic on different animals. For example, if we share the same DNA sequence with the Staphylococcus aureus bacteria, does it mean we have been this bacteria?
It
No,
means
it's not. You cannot. If you're gonna
look,
apply
the
this
fact
logic
that we share-
with
listen,
chimpanzees,
listen,
you
sir.
have to apply
Yes,
the
you're
same
correct.
logic on everything and see if
Look,
it turns the right.
You're correct, sir. Look, the fact that we share DNA with every living being on the planet, which is true, we share DNA with everything on the planet,
Yes, everything that's alive.
is evidence in my favor of evolution, because that means we share common ancestry, and this is supported by the fossil evidence and DNA evidence and lab experiments. Again, the overwhelming evidence is that evolution is a fact.
You just say lab experiment. I do lab experiment on my free time. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Rick, okay, do you know who Richard Linsky is?
Who?
Richard Linsky.
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay, he's a microbiologist who actually has done a lab on speciation over 2 decades in labs where he took a species of E. coli, he introduced certain citrates to them and observed their speciation over many generations. This is direct evidence of macroevolution and speciation in a lab. Different species emerged
Well,
from this
I
experiment.
have
Different
done
species.
bacteria plantations on my own, and I have done lab works as
Sir,
well.
you're
I
not
have
addressing what I just told you. I just told you that a person, a scientist, demonstrated speciation in a lab. What do you have to say about that? Oh, he's Googling again.
what is our anatomical differences? For example, certain humans, not many people know about this.
Sir, you either have to address what I just told you or you're going to go away. You're not an honest debater.
If you have to understand what I'm trying to say, you have to understand fully. You not keep interrupting me in the middle and
Sir, did Richard
draw your own
Linsky
conclusion what I'm
demonstrate
about to say.
speciation or not? Yes or no? Did
Are
he
you trying to
demonstrate
have a
speciation?
conversation or just interrupting me and trying to prove that you're right? If you want to really understand, or if you want to just have argument for argument's sake for entertainment, then you can do that, then I can leave. But if you want to really have a discussion,
Okay,
come to a conclusion on our
this
own
is
logic
part of
thinking.
this is part of the discussion. You have to answer honestly. Did Richard Linsky demonstrate speciation? Yes or no?
I don't know who Richard Linsky is. I haven't read his research.
Great.
So I cannot answer that.
So then you have to go back to the drawing board and learn more, because you don't have an argument. By your own concession, you don't have a counter argument for this.
Wait,
So
who
either
knows more?
learn
Me,
Richard
who
Linsky's
who have
experiment on E.
dedicated a lot
coli,
of years of my life
learn-
in this subject, or you who have just been on TikTok and going live talking, saying names, chromosome number
Sir,
2,
you
not
have
knowing what
not given
chromosome
me a
is.
single counter argument that demonstrates evolution doesn't happen yet.
I have demonstrated for you since the beginning.
You just
You
said
cannot apply
evolution isn't
that
possible.
logic on
All you
everything.
said, no. Look, all you said today was that you have to have faith to believe in evolution. That's all you've done today. And I took my time to sit here and listen to what you had to say. And so far, you have not given a single counter argument. So this is your last chance to give a proper counter to the things I just argued for. If you don't have that, you are a dishonest interlocutor, and you don't have a place. You do not have a place in this debate. One last chance.
You keep mentioning chromosome number 2. Do you know the function of it?
It has many functions, sir. Like you said, there are many genes within it.
Yes, how many?
A lot of it has to do with phenotypes.
All right, what is phenotypes?
The characteristics on the exterior of our bodies.
It doesn't necessarily have to be phenotypes.
Okay, yes, I agree. There are a multitude of different genes embedded within the chromosome too. But the problem is you're still not arguing against it.
What I'm trying to explain to you, just because we share a similarity on, you say, chromosome number 2 with the chimpanzees, doesn't necessarily prove that we have been chimpanzees.
Yeah, you.
A species will remain a
so
species. It will not evolve to a
the
different
answer you just
species.
provided with me, it seems to me you don't actually know how to counter what I'm saying, because similarities are relevant here. We're talking about a specific gene that completely matches with our chimp ancestors. It has nothing to do with similarities at all. So the fact that you keep bringing that argument up means you don't actually have a proper counter.
My proper counter to this is, if you're gonna apply this logic on this way, you have to apply the same logic on everything. So if we share similarities, say, I agree with you, we share similarities to chromosome number 2. If we can apply the same logic on everything, for example, we can say, okay, we share similarities with the donkey on chromosome number 4.
Yes,
for
and
example.
that is evidence.
I'm just saying something random.
That is evidence that
Does
we
it mean we have been
sir,
donkeys?
Sir, that is evidence that we share common ancestry with all animals. We share ancestry with donkeys. We share ancestry with flowers and trees. At some point far back enough in the evolutionary records, we share ancestry with all life on the planet.
Yes, all life on the planet. That's correct.
Yes.
Because
But
that's
in this
the
specific example, I'm showing you that we speciated from a specific species of ape. We are apes. Do you agree?
no, we're not apes. We're humans.
Humans are a type of ape.
No, a ape is another species.
Okay. No, an ape is a type of a category of animals, okay? And humans are a one type of ape. There are chimps, there are bonobos, there are gorillas, orangutans. Those are all types of apes. We are one type of ape. And the fact that you don't even know that as a biologist, supposedly, is very, very sad. And I would suggest you go back to the drawing board and learn more about evolution, because it seems like all you can do is spout the same things that your favorite apologists are reiterating online. I think that's pretty sad. Let's get the next person in here. Keep tapping, guys. Keep tapping, and subscribe to my YouTube and the channel. Hey, what do you got? Hello? Yep, guys, we are apes. If you disagree with that, please go learn. We are apes. Humans are apes. We are Homo sapiens. We are not some kind of magical being. We're just animals, just like every other animal.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good. What do you have for us today?
I'm just really confused. If you think we're apes, why are there still monkeys and other apes alive if they didn't turn into us?
Well, not every ape is going to become a human, right? Every species goes through different trajectories, evolutionarily speaking. Monkeys are not apes; they're a different type of animal. But the point is that every species of ape has their own environments that they live in, and they evolve separately. That's why we are not. That's why not every ape is going to become a human.
I disagree, but I just really think no one can prove God is, you can't prove anything. Like, you can't even prove that we were evolved. We were apes.
We surely can. With the evidence is in our genetics. The evidence is in our DNA. We can observe chromosomal fusions. We can observe genetic mutations that occur. We can trace backward sequencing our DNA and see how it changes over time. We can look at the fossil record, observe homologous, analogous structures in the fossil record, and see the changes. We can also do lab experiments like Richard Linsky. He took bacteria and observed their speciation over many generations. The evidence for evolution is absolutely overwhelming. You would have to be crazy, mad to disagree.
I also think you'd have to be mad to not believe in God. Like,
Okay,
if
great.
you think
So
that there's
what's your evidence for God then that is so powerful?
I mean, it's everywhere. If you can't, like, if you don't experience it yourself, you can't really. I can't just be like, oh, you're gonna.
So how did you experience God?
How did I experience God? Well, every day I do. When I was going through a depression and a heartbreak, that's how I came to find God by myself. And
okay.
now,
And how do you know? Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that well, I'm glad to hear that you got through those things. But how exactly did you know that God was helping you and it wasn't just yourself?
And the reason being is that no one ever told me to believe in God. No one told me I have to believe in God. No one said go to church. No one said do this. I just found him on my own. And I just think it's a beautiful thing.
Great.
And I hope everyone gets to experience that.
Great.
Including
But
me.
I'm asking you a specific question here. How exactly do you know that it was your God that helped you and not just yourself?
Because I couldn't have done it myself. I prayed, and then that's when things happened.
So you said some words and you talked to yourself and things happened around you automatically? It just, your life just changed?
Just like, how do you're gonna believe?
Look,
You're gonna believe like proof. You think that it is of evolution, but you never seen it yourself. You didn't.
look, I don't
It's the
believe in
same
a
feeling if
God.
you haven't
I have gotten over heartbreaks and things like that without God, right? So how do you explain that?
because you didn't pray to God. That's you did it yourself. I'm saying I prayed to God. I didn't.
I did it
just
myself,
come
right?
yourself.
See,
Yeah, but I'm
just like
saying
you
I
could
prayed
have
to
done it
God.
yourself, just
But
like
you
you
didn't.
could have done it yourself, right?
But I didn't. That was what I'm saying.
How do you know it wasn't yourself? How do you know that you didn't just
Because
go
I'm
through
saying
it?
I prayed and then things happened.
Yeah,
You get me?
maybe when you prayed, you developed this wishful thinking attitude and you became happier because you used God, your belief in God, as a way of feeling better about the situation, right? Just like I can go through something bad and think that there's a unicorn that'll come and save me and I'll be happier, right? But it doesn't mean that unicorns exist, right? That's the problem. You
No,
have
yeah, I
not,
understand what you're
you
saying,
have
but
not shown the true connection between your prayer and your God.
yeah, but how do you explain the feeling of being in church and you feel miracles and you feel the environment, you feel like it's that's what I'm saying. It's an unexplainable feeling that everyone has to experience on their own. So you can't just
Yeah, I've been to church. I used to be Christian,
yeah.
and it is a great feeling when you go to church and you hear the choir, you hear the noise, the sound waves propagate through the cathedral and through the walls and the cement and the beautiful colored architecture, beautiful glass windows, colored windows,
Well,
the
the church I go to
saloon going through. It's a
doesn't
great
have
experience,
pillars and
but
windows. It's literally just a small room and you
it's
can feel it.
explained through the brain.
No,
When you go through these experiences, it's like a euphoric experience because dopamine rushes through your brain and it makes you feel happy and good and makes you feel light. And this is something that happens all the
okay.
time to people, no matter what they believe.
A
It's just
genuine
how our
question
brain
though. A
works.
genuine question. Sorry, to cut you off. I'm just like, and because you're not the only person I've seen do these types of things, like live saying like prove God isn't real or blah blah blah. Like I feel like that in itself is like a whole reason. And yeah, I'm yapping people. I don't really care. Anyways, I'm just saying that in itself.
I'm sorry, but proof isn't just, trust me, I felt good. Proof is when you can demonstrate
Stupid ass
something,
motherfucker.
falsify it.
Fuck you.
Keep tapping, guys. Please keep tapping. Let's get some more peeps in here.
You are gypsy, man. Why are you gypsy?
Hello?
You are gypsy.
I sense a lot of toxicity. Why? Why be toxic? Why not be open to talking and listening?
Can you hear me?
Hearing me out. Hey, what do you got?
How can you prove that he's an imaginary? Can you prove that he's an imaginary?
God, if you're here, if you're existing, show me to yourself right now.
Open your eyes.
That's called
Wait.
tempting
Wait.
the Lord.
He's not
It is
there.
called tempting,
Okay.
bro. And
He's not
you said
real.
you was Christian, though. You would know that that's tempting him and pulling his card.
Okay, so how do we show God exists? How do we show he's not imaginary?
I'm asking you because you're the one that got this up here.
There seems to be no evidence of a God. That's why I think it's imaginary. Just like unicorns or, invisible people.
Oh, but I think because the book is still here, and the book's been here for decades, more than decades. It's been here for so long that I believe that can be enough amount proof to believing that we are created by God.
Okay, so you have a book that says a thing. How do you
And the
know?
same, sorry, hold on one second. And the same with you believing in DNA splicing and all that, thinking that we're half monkey, half fish, half cat, half dog. Proteins in animals and in humans too as well. He made everything.
Yeah, I never
If you
talked
think
about
about it,
splicing. But look, the difference between your book and facts is that facts can be demonstrated, DNA can be demonstrated, right? Your book is just a
And it
story
has been
that cannot be
demonstrated,
verified.
bro. It has been demonstrated. You
Great.
just weren't born and around during that time. During that time on that bloodline, things were being
Okay, great.
recorded.
So how do we know that the things in the Bible happened and they weren't just stories?
Your faith. You were a Christian. You said it yourself, and you was feeling good and overwhelmed and everything when you were going in there. So you felt something going into that church. I know
Dopamine.
churches
Dopamine,
I
not
know
ketosis.
churches, huh?
I felt dopamine.
You felt dopamine.
Yeah.
And
not
in
God.
church, we don't teach you nothing about dopamine. I
That's
can make
why
a
I'm not in
drug right
church.
now
That's
and
why
call
I
it a
need
name, and
science.
everybody out there will believe it.
That's why I'm not in church anymore, because they don't teach you anything about the real world, right? I'm after facts. Do you have any evidence or facts for God existing, or just a story?
Okay, I do. I'm so truthful with this, bro. I've been shot seven times, face, chest, heart. You know what I'm saying? Lay for dead and in a coma for a long time, bro. For a long time, and I woke up. When I woke up to a lot of this stuff right here. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I know it exists because I'm still here. And that wasn't even that one time when I turned my head from him. Every time I turn my head from him, it's like he's trying to wake me up to these things that are going on out here.
I understand.
I laid in the hospital in a coma almost for like 3 months, bro. And the
I'm happy.
congregation of a church had prayed for me.
Look, sir, I'm happy you're here, and I'm happy you survived, and that's great. Good for you. The problem with this conversation is that you are assuming that you got help from your God and not the doctors.
I don't
right?
see how can you assume if you're in a coma? There is no brain activity there at all. You know what I'm saying? The only thing you're getting out of that part is a spiritual relief and
all the time come back. It's just what the brain does, right? Your brain can heal itself. Your body can heal itself. Your immune system can kick in. There are medics beside. Were you in a hospital?
that's all medical terms and stuff like that. I don't believe doctors and stuff were way back then when Jesus was around. I don't believe doctors was like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, don't go over there. I got hydrochlorine for you, or
have a good day.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you. I've heard you before. Not enough, though. I'm pretty fascinated, probably because I'm 68 now, so I need the truth. You know, when I was a child, I still live in Baltimore, and I grew up in Baltimore, so I'm at public school 227 PS. And I remember elementary school, the teacher drew evolution facts on one side, and then on the right side, Christianity. And after we finished studying it, and this is a public school, just a city school, not a private religious school, she said, as if evolution was debunked and Christianity is the way and the soul. I'll never forget that.
Ma'am, are you religious or are you atheist?
Well, now I'm not believing. I mean, I'm even scared to say it. But my mom was atheist back then. I went home from this school thing, and she said, "And I don't believe in the Easter Bunny either. Just wait till you get the facts." And this is 1950s, you know, because I'm old. So, but my mother's the best. Go ahead.
Thank you. I
Best, smartest person.
I appreciate your words, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, what do you got?
Have you seen people are copying you in TikTok?
Yes, I have.
Good. I love you. I love you. I want to say that.
I'm trying to be nice, guys, but I have people that are leaving that they don't care. You know, they're not listening.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
I just think someone needs to tell you to shut the fuck up. Goodbye, my friend.
Oh, you think that's an argument for God? If that's the best argument you got, I'm sorry. I'm going to remain an atheist. That's not going to convince anybody. That was the best Christian argument. The argument from ad hominem.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
So I just wanted to say, like, I believe in God and all that, but like, what makes you think he isn't real?
Well, there's no evidence for it. How old are you?
I am 18,
What year were you born?
2004. Okay, I'm sorry, but I really like your arguments.
Keep tapping, guys, and please subscribe to my YouTube if you want more of my content. I have all my lives up there. I have science videos. I have a playlist now with like consciousness, relativity, abiogenesis, evolution. I have tons of good science videos. If you guys are, looking to get more understanding of things.
Hello, Michael.
Hey, what do you got?
Okay, so can you prove to me that God is not real?
Which one?
My God personally is Allah.
Okay. I have a little bit of suspicion that you're not a true Muslim. But
Well, I am, sorry, so
okay. Anyway, Muslims typically make the claim that the Quran is infallible, and typically when I look at the Quran, I see all kinds of errors in it. I think that's good reason to not believe that Allah is true. But we also have larger issues like the evidential problem of evil, the divine hiddenness, the omniparadoxes, the lack of evidence. Right? These are good reasons to not believe in a God.
okay, and is that all you have?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my evidence that he exists. Okay, so basically one day I'm edging to your voice.
Surprised you're a troll. You really got me. Okay, this is not good, guys. We're not going to have a debate anymore if we only have 300 people. Like, we're running out of guests, so yeah, this is not good. Because my conversation is not well? What's that even mean?
Hello?
Hey, how old are you?
24.
Great, what do you got?
Yeah. So you say, can I prove you wrong that God is imaginary? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can go off odds based type stuff. What are the odds there are two specific sexes that are aligned to you at birth? What are the odds of that that the ecosystem is perfect and that any faults in it would result in imminent death? What are the odds of those things? What are the odds of the Earth being on a prominent, precise axis? Come on, man.
Well, how do you even, first of all, how do you even think or suggest that anything about the world is perfect? What ecosystem's perfect? What are you talking about? Perfect, orbit or anything? There's no such thing as a perfect orbit. We live right next to a burning ball of plasma that's getting ready to destroy us any moment, and in the meantime, giving us skin cancer. What kind of arrangement, perfect arrangement, is that? But more importantly, um, how do you know that the odds being small means God must exist?
Because there's absolutely no way, if we can take away that, there's just no way that it can happen without a creator and a designer, then we could distinguish that there is probability of a creator or designer. I would go with, I mean, preferably I would go with, the possibility of more likelihood rather than unlikely, wouldn't you?
No, because what a creator means is something that I'm not even sure you understand. What do you mean by creation in the first place?
A creation, like a creationist, a designer, someone who designed us and the planet and the ecosystem and the universe.
Okay, great. But what do you mean by creating, right? What does that mean? Popping from nothing? Or do you mean like producing something from assembling something that already existed?
Popping stuff out of nothing.
So you think you can get something from nothing?
No, because the stuff that came was from God. Hold on. The stuff that came was from God. God breathed it into existence. Do you understand what I'm saying?
From where? And where?
From God. Everything is from God, other than the man-made stuff that we've created on Earth.
So you're saying that I come from God? God just poofed me into existence? How did he make me?
Well, your parents made you, and God designed you in the womb.
Okay. So the stuff was already there. God just assembled it.
Not from the very beginning. I don't think you're tracking here, Mike. I don't think you're tracking.
See, this is precisely the problem when you just say creating or creation. That's the problem. It's very clear now why simply saying he created us is a bad thing to say. You have to be more elaborate on what you mean. But no, you cannot simply assert that because I don't understand why things are the way they are, therefore God is more likely. That's God of the gaps. Also, we know why we are this way. We know why we are in this particular arrangement because we adapted to be here. We adapted to these conditions. And that's what makes the most sense. Because, look at our bodies. They are able to withhold the amount of gravity we are, being under, we are subject to. Our skin is able to absorb certain amounts of radiation and reflect certain amounts of radiation. Our pigmentation is able to do that and protect us to a certain degree. There are certain parameters in which we exist within that allow us to survive in sufficient enough degree that would yield us new life, reproduction. That's exactly the scenario we would expect if there was no God and there was just nature happening by chance. There does not seem to be any reason why God is required for anything about us.
There's a reason for everything. Why do you think sex is enjoyable? Why do you think sex is enjoyable? Because
if we don't do it, we would die, and that's why we evolved to have this pleasure. Because that dopamine and that oxytocin gives us an incentive to do things that propagate our species. This is evolution 101. Why would God make the male G-spot up the ass if he doesn't like gay people?
That's false logic, dude. That's
why is it? Why would God?
Why would the G-spot be up the
man's
man's
doesn't
ass?
like gay people, right? As you proclaim.
What's the evolutionary reason for that?
That he would put the G-spot up my anus. Why? Why is it pleasurable to get have butt sex?
What's the evolutionary reason?
Well, because we had butt sex a lot in the past, and it felt good.
No.
Yes.
Can that be scientifically proven?
75% of bonobos have gay sex. It is social. It allows us for social,
they're animals,
adaptation. It allows us to adapt together socially.
You're saying gay sex allows us to like adapt in society? Come on, dude.
No, you did not even hear what I just said. It allowed us to be more social as animals, and we are very social, right? Being gay is genetic.
So what do you think happens when you pass?
You rot away.
You don't think there's anything after? You don't think there was anything before? You don't
I
nothing?
think there was just stuff before and there'll be stuff after, and that's it. No need for God.
Dude, that's a nihilistic mindset, dude, and that's dangerous to have, bro.
Well, from your perspective, maybe because you think that you expect there to be some afterlife, but actually, I see it
Well,
the
it's the only thing
opposite.
that
I
makes
see it
sense.
in the
It's the only
opposite
thing that
way.
makes sense.
I see it this way. I see the fact that we are here for this one moment, to this one chance, this one life, as this life meaning everything. Because look at how rare it is. Look at how fragile we are as a living entity. And that means we have to take care of it, hold it preciously in our hands and not destroy it. We take care of each other because it's all we got is each other. And from your point of view, if God exists, you get another afterlife. This life doesn't matter. It's just a test to see how well we can obey our master. That's not good to me. That's nihilistic to me. Christianity is nihilistic. Whereas under my view, this life means everything to me, and it's extremely precious because it's finite.
So yeah, I mean, what do you say? What do you say about all those miracles that have happened? Like, what you just think it's coincidence that people have healed from being blind?
Show me the evidence for somebody being healed from blindness. Where's the evidence to this?
Oh, so you don't believe there's been a person that's been healed from being blind?
Well, scientifically, sure, we have science now that can do that, but not without science.
No, there's no science. There's no LASIK eye surgery that would heal somebody being blind.
There are
There's no
certain
medicine.
procedures. There are certain procedures that allow the eye to be healed certain ways. We can fix the eyesight. But again, you have not shown that you can heal blindness without any medical intervention.
So you're the type of guy. If Jesus showed up in your room right now, you still wouldn't believe. Like you're that ignorant to
How
the
would I know
thought
he's
of there being
actually
a
a
God.
god and not just some random guy that got into my house and snuck into my house?
Exactly. You would keep thinking you were hallucinating. You were going through like some mental health problem. You
No.
wouldn't believe it if it was actually true.
I would ask better questions than you do. See, you just look around and say, it must be God, trees, God, things, God, we're perfect, God. I ask better questions. That doesn't mean that I'm inherently this, person who doesn't ever believe in God. I'm simply asking better questions. I'm more inquisitive than you are. I'm asking not just more questions, but better questions, questions that you don't even know to ask. And that's why, from your perspective, you see me as somebody who's very dismissive. I'm not. It's the absolute opposite. You are way more dismissive than anybody else because you believe in God and only God, and you can never be open. It's much more harder to open a believer's eyes and a skeptic's eyes.
You want proof that there's a God? You're living proof right now because there's demonic activity living around you and pursuing you to do these type of lives that pursues you to give people these type of feelings, man.
Okay,
You are
great.
the
So how
living
do I
proof.
get the demons out?
Society is the living proof.
How do I get the demons out?
I mean, convert to Jesus.
Okay, well, how do I do that? And how would I know that the demons are gone?
What do you mean the demons aren't God?
How would I know the demons are gone? They're away.
Oh, gone. Your mind would change. You would feel better. You would feel more spiritual. You'd feel more healthy. Because I've had demonic oppression before.
I feel great right now. I feel just fine. I'm healthy. I'm happy.
Dude, there's no way you can be happy, possibly.
How do you know that? You're not me. See, now you're making all these ridiculous assumptions because your entire worldview hinges on the notion that everything around you is bad and I'm the only good one here and I'm the savior. I'm a soldier for God. Well, I'm sorry, sir, but there's an entire world around you that thinks differently from you, and it seems to me that you're just projecting.
No, actually, there is a sufficient viable reason as to why you're happy, and the reason is because the demonic oppression around you is allowing you to be happy, so you don't convert to God, because then you wouldn't need anything. You wouldn't need any healing. You wouldn't need any stray from the depression, from the anxiety. So yeah, these this demonic oppression is allowing you to be happy, so you won't convert to God. So you'll just be comfortable living with that for the rest of your life.
And whose fault
That's a
was that?
viable reason.
Whose fault was that then? The
That
demons?
was your fault
How
for
is
not
it my fault?
realizing that.
How is it my fault that the demons got to me?
A lot of it's your diet, the stuff you read. Like you preach being a vegan all the time, like that being a
So
vegan and eating plant-based foods all the time is associates itself with bad mental health. Like if
so
you,
eating plants means you get demons?
that's what it leads to. It's like what depression and stuff leads to. So like
You hear that, guy? You hear that, guys? Don't eat plants, okay? Don't eat beans.
it's not
The
good for
demons
you.
they're gonna give you gas. Okay?
Well, being a vegan is not good for your mental health.
Sir, this is utterly ridiculous. This is embarrassing. I'm sorry. But no, look, I know you probably don't understand what you're saying, and it's not probably your fault entirely. But what is your fault is your lack of ability to think critically. That is your fault. Think more, learn more about the world around you. Okay, I can assure you, that beans are not giving us demonic possession. I can assure you, there's no evidence of that. You are making claims that you cannot support because you have this entire worldview that is hinged upon your fear. Stop being so fearful.
No, I'm not scared.
Great. So then why do you think beans are making me crazy?
Because there's been scientific evidence as to why beans and plant-based foods can lead to depression and exacerbate depression-like symptoms.
No, there isn't. There is no evidence of that. But more importantly, that has no relevance to demons.
Okay, how do you explain all like demonic possession in churches and stuff? How do you explain that? How do you explain demonic possessions on
They're
videos?
acts. They're acts. They're gigs. They're not real.
You think they're scripted?
Absolutely. It
But
is
what if it's
widely
not scripted?
accepted
You can't
that
just think it's
many of these
scripted.
things are scripted.
What?
Yes. How about the Baptist church? How about I forgot his name, but one of the pastors there, I think it was the Western Baptist Church. They got it was clear and obvious that they were acting, and they literally acknowledged it.
Dude.
But also another factor here is the fact that people in these churches have the incentive to make other people be part of their congregation, and they want to make it, they want to improvise to make it seem like there's something real happening there, right? But most of it is an act.
Okay, so how do you explain really bad like drug addiction and pill addiction? You like that's definitely like demonic and demonic oppression upon them, dude. Nobody just loses control over themselves and their body due to an addiction, such as like their dopamine being fucked up and fluttered. Nobody straight loses control and ruins their life because of an addiction.
What are you talking about? There's a very slippery slope when it comes to drug addiction. You take a few drugs here and there, and eventually it leads to something more dangerous. This is like common knowledge. Like it can happen to anybody. Anybody's susceptible to it. Alcohol and a little bit of drugs here and there, exposure to them can lead to it's like a compounding effect. And getting out of that does not require a being. It requires courage and strength, but anybody can do that.
I mean, dude, there are some people that literally just can't do it without God, man. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own two eyes. There have been people that have been down and bad on gambling addiction, drug addiction, drinking, that just couldn't do it with the human flesh. They needed that supernatural power that helped them get out. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I think do you mean that they required the belief in God or God? Because there's a difference.
Required literal God.
How do you know that God is required to help people get out of addiction and not just the belief?
Because the medicine wouldn't help. Fucking the GA meetings wouldn't help. The fucking the AA meetings wouldn't help. Nothing from this physical earth would help. So they went to God. They found the Holy Spirit and it healed them.
Look, but you're talking about a very minority of cases. How about the majority of cases where medicine does help, where these clinics do help? How about the fact that most of the time they are helped by those things? And how about the fact that placebo is something that is very common? Placebo can cause changes.
Yeah, so why do you think most like AA meetings use Jesus and God and spirituality? Because they need that.
Who?
Like those AA meetings and stuff, they have pamphlets and it uses
Oh,
spirituality in it.
no. Well, clearly, when you believe in something when you sit there and you're in distress and you believe very wholeheartedly that somebody's going to come and save you, you're going to be more positive. You're going to have more positive outlook on that, and you're going to be more likely to survive and move on.
You're
See,
saying it lifts
it's the
hopelessness,
belief.
a
It's the
placebo? A
belief that acts as a
placebo lifts
placebo, and that's the
hopelessness.
entire point I was trying to get to you. The belief that God is helping you does help you, but it's the belief and not the actual God, right? There's no God helping you. It's just your belief that you're going to be helped. Placebo is a very real factor.
Have you seen this happen?
All the time. There are tons of science and research on this.
So
Placebo
you're
is a
saying
real
so you're
factor.
saying if I take a pill and I really, really believe it's a Percocet, I really, really believe it, I'm gonna feel it.
Many times it is the case that placebo does work, and there is evidence of that.
So if I smoke oregano, I'm gonna think I'm high because I think it's weed. Come on, dude.
It's
That's not
possible
true.
that some people do. Some people are more susceptible than others. Some people are less susceptible, but the point is, it does happen. There is a degree at which that happens.
Bro, you know what? I hope you find God one day, man. You know, I think you got potential. I think God will touch your soul one day, man, because He tries to touch everybody's souls. You know.
Well, I don't want him touching me at all. So, if God has to touch me to for me to believe in him, I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous and weird and strange.
Yeah. What about all those people that have been to heaven and wrote books about it? And you know,
Oh,
well,
like the
how do
boy,
you debunk that?
like
You
the
can't
family
debunk
that lied
that.
about it, like the family that made the book, and then they admitted they lied about that. Oh yeah,
Are you talking
I'm
about that 11-year-old kid?
yeah. Most of those books are fake and hoaxes to get publicity. It's a PR stunt.
That's not. I mean, not the one I saw, but that's evil, man.
How do you know? How do you know that God, is that they actually went to heaven? How do you know that?
I mean, I don't know, but I mean, what if it is true? I think about it like, what if?
Okay, what if God's not true? Like, who cares about what ifs? If you're making a claim that God is real, we need evidence for that.
Okay,
You're
well,
making very peculiar claims. You're making very, very strange statements today, none of which have been supported by any data. That's the problem. I don't care about what
sometimes
ifs.
you
I
can
care
rule
about what
data
now.
over feelings.
Huh?
Okay, I've actually been in the church and I felt like a Holy Spirit come through my soul, dude. Like I felt it.
You mean you felt a good feeling, or you felt a spirit?
No, it was like
What's the
it
difference?
was like a drug, but it wasn't a drug. It was like euphoria feeling, dude. I wasn't even asking for it. That's the
That's
thing.
dopamine. That's oxytocin.
Why would oxytocin go?
That's
Why would
DMT. Did
oxytocin
you
go
look,
through the
sir?
church?
Did you know that your brain actually releases DMT? The same chemicals found in drugs are found in your brain. They're produced in the brain.
Yeah,
And
but
when you go to
why would that
church,
happen?
they can be stimulated by your surroundings in church, right? The music, the choir, the priest, the pastor, the people around you, the congregation, all that stuff can affect your thoughts and feelings about things.
Is there any scientific evidence to back this up?
Absolutely, there is. I would highly suggest you go learn the evidence that backs what I'm saying up.
So you felt that in church before?
Absolutely.
And at first, did you think it was like a supernatural thing?
Absolutely. You feel when you're a child, when I was a child, I felt like I was in the presence of a god or some magical deity. But as I learned, I realized that was just myself. It's an illusion.
And that does not scare you at all.
Not anymore. At first, yes, it might scare you to leave religion to, but now it's like I couldn't see it any other way. It's hard for me to even put myself in your shoes anymore because it's been so long since I've been religious. But I can tell, yes, it's scary, but it just takes a bit of courage.
All right, thanks, man. I don't
And
think I'm Christian anymore.
what?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, what you're saying does seem, legit viable, dude. I don't think I believe in God anymore, man.
Okay, well, if you're serious, that's great, but I don't want to just make you stop believing God. I want you to continue learning, right? The problem, the point here today is for you to go learn, go research, go learn. I don't care if you're an atheist or not. I care if you're learning and you're open. That's all I care about. But thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Thanks for the galaxy skits. All right, let's get the next victim in here.
Hey Mark. Hey Mark. So I was gonna ask you a question. Do you think that we can prove that intent exists, or is it just a emergent property of desire?
If I think what exists?
Intent.
Intent?
Yeah, to intend to do something using your consciousness. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
if you're talking about if we have free will, no, I
no,
don't.
no, no.
I don't think
No,
we have freedom.
no, I don't. I don't mean. I mean, it's a bit of a difficult topic to really get started on without going into semantics. But when I say intent, right? I mean, okay, fine. We'll say free will. But can I just ask you a question? If so, you're a determinist, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, so you believe there's no free will at all. But
Correct.
doesn't that? I'm just asking a question because I'm not that well versed in like physics and stuff. But within quantum mechanics, so we have different interpretations of how time works, right? So in general relativity, there is like it exists simultaneously in the future and the past. Basically, it's like it exists in like sort of frames, right? Is that how it works?
Well, yeah. If you're talking about the block model, yes, there is no. It's not presentism. It's eternalism in the sense that the past and the future, all events happen and occur simultaneously. Well, they don't occur simultaneously. They exist simultaneously, just
Yeah.
like space does. But yeah.
Okay, so that would therefore mean that there is no free will, right?
Logically, yes, it would follow that there's no freedom.
Okay. So doesn't that conflate what quantum mechanics says about time? Or like or how it does conflate it.
Quantum mechanics does not say anything necessarily about time. There's no implications about within quantum mechanics that says anything about time necessarily.
There is.
Time can be something out beyond the scope of quantum mechanics, but however, there are different. We don't know what time is necessarily. There are different models of time that we can incorporate with any interpretation of quantum mechanics. The point here is that all things are possible when it comes to free will. I don't see how there could be freedom within quantum mechanics, but it's possible. I'm open to it.
Okay, but probability like so probability like wise, you would probably say there is no free will because of how time.
Yes, I would say it's more likely that there is not free will
but
based on the fact that we know about relativity in physics.
Okay. So if we accept that there is free will, do you think the fact that we can like define abstract concepts with our consciousness is like gives some level of probability to there being someone that designed or like created the fundamental things of our universe?
Yeah, I don't know what that would mean. I don't know what a creator would entail.
Something that so say like mass and like gravity, right? There is like you can observe there is a connection between the two, right? Like they have different functions, but we can do the same thing, right? Where we can with our consciousness we can like define and create frameworks in the same way that our universe works, sort of. So we can create like I don't even know, like we can sort of do stuff like that, and we're the only thing that can do it with our consciousness. So the fact that we have the intent to do something within our system, and that's the only thing we can observe. So is it not plausible to say that something could have designed like the fundamental things of our universe in the same way that we can design things?
Look, if all you're going to say is, well, isn't it possible that something designed us? Well, That doesn't really answer any questions,
No,
actually.
it's-
You're attempting to answer the question of where we come from, but you're saying it's designed. Well, how about the designer? Where did that come from, right?
no,
Like
but
you're
that doesn't
kicking,
really
you're
worry me.
merely kicking. Hold on.
Yeah, my
You're
bad.
merely kicking the can down the road by invoking any teleological argument. You're just simply saying, "Well, look, something's designed, but we know nothing about the designer, what that entails." So
Yeah, okay, that
this is
doesn't worry
why
me
this
though.
argument fails to me.
No, but like I'm not. It's not strictly talking about a God per se. I mean, it depends on how you define like God. But I'm saying that doesn't worry me. Like the other stuff about the creator or anything, that doesn't worry me because the scope of what the argument is referencing is just if we're like created or if it's probable that we were created or designed or the fundamental things of our universe were created or designed. Like if there's a high probable chance of that, or we can just say it's all brute
We
fact.
don't know. I don't even know what that means. Look, why do you guys assume that we know what creation even means? What does it mean to create? How do you create? What's the mechanism of creation? What do you mean? It's a very ambiguous word in the first place. In the second place, you have no evidence of it. We can't assess the probability
But
of
that
creation or non-creation. We
but
cannot
if we
assess that.
okay, but if we within a system, if the only thing that we can observe is us being able to create or assemble something using our consciousness, so we know it's something that is something that like as a concept exists within our
We
reality.
don't create with our consciousness.
I mean, we do. We use our cognition and our consciousness,
No,
which
no,
is
no.
immersion of
We
consciousness.
don't create with our consciousness. Consciousness is merely the things we do are the byproducts of consciousness. It's not the
Yeah,
same thing
cognition.
as saying we create with our consciousness. Consciousness is simply one part of the sequence in the chain of events that lead to us doing things.
Okay, but no, that it depends on like that depends on your view on if there is like free will and stuff like that, does it not? Doesn't that hinge on that premises? Or no?
I don't see where the problem is with my view that we don't have free will, that everything we do and think and are conscious of is determined. I don't see where the problem is in my view.
Okay. No, my point is that it is also probable, quite probable to look the other way and accept an alternative sort of view. Because it's like it's something that we haven't proved yet, or if there's an equal amount of probability for each side because you're talking about physics and a model which is changing constantly. And I'm pretty sure quantum mechanics does because it's referenced
Look, it depends on what you mean by what you're saying. There are different theistic ways of looking at the world.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me one that is more likely than naturalism. Great, but I don't see it yet. I don't see any particular worldview that is more probable than naturalism to me. That's why I remain a naturalist.
All right, fine. I mean, I'm not gonna really be able to sway your opinion.
All right, thank you. Keep tapping, guys. This is not good. We got to get more people in here.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
Hello. Okay, so so you're an atheist, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Can you explain to me how we came from a rock?
Okay. We don't come from rocks. Nobody ever said that. If
I mean,
anything, it's you.
The Big Bang Theory. Most atheists go off that. The Big Bang Theory.
And what is the Big Bang Theory to you?
Two rocks fucking and making the universe.
All right, guys. Well, unfortunately, looks like we don't have any more guests, so we're gonna have to cut it today. Bye, you tried. Guys, don't be butthurt because you got kicked right? I'm not kicking because I don't like you. I'm kicking because I have a specific life, right? It's supposed to be a Christian versus an atheist, or a theist versus an atheist. It's not supposed to be an atheist that comes on and gets to talk about her childhood, right? So I know you don't like being kicked, but maybe next time I'll have a discussion where we talk about your childhood, right? But right now we're not doing that. Where can I buy your book? Link in bio. All my links in my bio. Well, I guess I'll just do some Q&A. See where mixed fabrics. Yeah, if you guys want like a signed copy, you can PayPal me, and I can ship you over a signed copy of my book if you guys want. Just send me a DM. It would help a lot. I've sold a lot of signed copies. I sold like 20, 30 signed copies already. Probably more. Do I believe Jesus was a real person? No. Well, yes, could be, possibly. But I don't think that there's any truth or veracity in his supernaturalness. Do you have physical copies? Yes, I have them. Do I believe squids and octopuses? You mean octopi? No, they're not aliens. They're just people don't realize how much room there is for things to evolve, right? Like there's so many pathways that beings could go through in evolution. Because there's so many environments. So many environments. So octopi and all those other animals are very, very amazing. Do we pay extra to get it signed? Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be signed book and I have to pay for shipping for you, right? So yes, you're going to have to pay a bit extra. Do you think the complexity of DNA, physics, chemistry is not pointing towards an intelligent being? Well, when you say physics or chemistry, when you talk about these things, all you're talking about is the descriptions of the world. So it's not that the world is complex. It's only complex according to our brains and according to how we perceive things and describe things. So I would never say that there's some kind of requirement that the universe, because it's incomprehensible to a degree, means it's therefore designed or intelligently designed. No, I think that's a false thing to do. I think also when you invoke intelligent design, it undermines your entire argument, because the entire point, the very reason why you suggest there's intelligence is because the universe is complex. But how about the designer. It would mean that it would follow that the designer is more complex than its creation. So it's like, if you're going to say that complexity requires design, well, then it applies to God. It applies to the designer. Who designed God? And if your answer is, well, God was always complex, well, why can't the universe be always complex, right? Like, I think that invoking intelligent design is useless. It actually gets you nowhere. You need to talk to Cliff. Who's that? Oh, I forgot about all those apologists. Like, dude, on my time off, I was just blissfully happy. I was like, I listened to no apologists. I was just super happy. Now I'm like back to this stuff. It's sad, but hey, it's helping people, and I think I have the obligation to do so. It's the responsible thing to do. But yeah, I think I'm done. I'm tired. There's my book shipped to Canada. Yes, it ships worldwide, but international shipping is going to be more expensive. Just recognize that. Obligation to whom? To you, to everybody. I owe other people things because I appreciate you guys, right? I appreciate the world around me a lot. That's why I want to give and help a lot. And also, I can help people. I'm in a position where I'm lucky enough to be able to help people. Why would you not take advantage of that opportunity? So that's really what I love to do. The entire point of these lives is not to turn you into an atheist, or it's to make you think. And that is the biggest gift you can be given. Critical thinking skills, right? Curiosity. I think everybody has it to some degree, but what I can do is be the catalyst to really expedite that, right? To really emphasize that drive in you to learn. Have you seen After Death? No. I've not seen that. Thoughts on Buddhism and Hinduism? They're still baseless. I mean, they're cute, but they're still baseless. They're less toxic than the Abrahamic religions by far, but they're still baseless to me. Still don't make any scientific sense. How do we get the signed copy? DM me. Send me a DM. I have my Instagram. I have my email, whatever. TikTok DMs. Send me a message. I'll respond. I'm very quick at responding. We are not apes. Apes are a different species than us. An ape is not a species. An ape is a category of, a particular primate. We are apes. Get over it. Humans are apes. Homo sapiens. That's our species. Okay? And this is basic science, guys. I mean, this is basic taxonomy.
Hey, lower down. Hey, what's up, Mike?
Yeah. Hey, what do you got?
Not much, man. I just came here to say I love your content.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I finally saw myself on YouTube, man. I saw it. Nah, I just like what you're doing, man. Like I said, I was the one that went vegan, so just keep doing what you're doing, Mike.
Great. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, we are apes. Yep. And people are so hesitant to concede that we are apes. We're so deluded, right, in our self-importance that, oh, we can't be animals. Oh, we can't be apes. We're humans. Why are you doing that? Why are you so hesitant to accept the fact that we are apes? Is it because you see other apes and you think, oh, well, we're so different from them, we can't possibly be on their level? I think that's doing a big disservice to other animals in the animal kingdom. I think you're missing the amount of amazingness and complexity in the animal kingdom. I mean, look at all the other monkeys and apes, and not even them, but dolphins and other mammals and pigs and cows and dogs and birds. I mean, look at how amazing those animals are and what they can do. Animals have a lot to teach us. And, I think that it's sad to see people just, oh, we're not apes. They eat their own poop or whatever. But I think that's missing a big part of what they really are and their story. And because there's a connection between us. We're all connected to other animals biologically. We're connected to many things around us in the universe. And to deny that is, I think, hubristic. I think it's sad. I think it's arrogant. Whereas in my view, I love to embrace the fact that we're animals because, hell, there's an entire story behind us. There's a fascinating story, a complex story, 13.8 billion years of evolution that precedes us. That's amazing. To me, it's the reason why I do what I do, because of how amazing I think life is and the earth is. How fragile we are, floating in this dark universe, alone. So, I mean, hell, we have is each other. Why would you dismiss them? Why not embrace them? Why not cherish our planet? That's all we got. Why is there a misconception on the definition of the Big Bang? Well, the Big Bang itself is a very, very highly debated subject. We are uncertain what the Big Bang really was. I mean, we have a good idea, but there's lots of disagreements. There's lots of countering data. It's hard science is hard, okay, and that's why there's lots of misconceptions about it. But also, I think there's a lot of religious incentive to disagree with the Big Bang and say, oh, look, the Big Bang, it's confusing. I have a better answer. It's God, right? And that I think that does a lot of disservice to the science as well. But there are many factors why there's many misconceptions. Was there ever life on the moon? No. Not that I'm aware of. Except for the Apollo landing, there is no life on the moon. But very interestingly, the moon is part of Earth in a way. The moon was produced by a gigantic collision between us and a planet, a small planet called Theia, about 4 billion years ago. It struck us really hard. And a chunk of the Earth got knocked off and went to space. And that molten chunk eventually captured into Earth's orbit and became the moon. So part of the Earth is in the moon. The moon is part of the Earth. And that's fascinating. It's just mind-boggling to recognize. And for so long, people have not understood this. Now we do. Now we understand the history of many things that we once never understood. we're living in a very privileged time. We're very privileged to be here. And that's another reason why I do what I do, because I want to show people that look at what we do know. Look how fascinating the things we do know are. That utterly makes me who I am. All right, guys. Well, it looks like the chat is dwindling, and I gotta go now. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for subscribing and following me and liking and watching. So have a good day.